Hey everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here. This is your Planning Outlook video on Friday the 23rd of November. And for the next few days, it's more of the same really. Easterly winds will prevail through this weekend. There'll be some showers mostly focused on eastern hills, still quite a lot of low cloud, with the best of the breaks away towards more western regions. Changes to the pattern developing as we head on into midweek though, as the Atlantic weather systems start to gain some strength. And there's the risk of gales coming in from the south and southwest. At least briefly milder air will try and get in, but there's the scope for the cold air to be never too far away. It's always times like this when confidence becomes low once cold and relatively milder air masses start to do battle. This chart is the 850 millibar level. Again, it's just a little bit higher up than the highest Scottish tops at this stage, but gives us a useful steer for temperatures. And freezing levels are down at around 800 or 900 metres, occasionally a little bit lower over the next few days. Let's just skip the chart on. Here's a push of colder air that comes in across Scotland, particularly through Sunday into Monday, which will lower the freezing level more towards 600 metres, especially across more eastern parts of the Highlands. Temperatures on the very highest tops down to -3, -4 or just below Ben Nevis and the Cairngorms. As we go on into the start of next week, the cold air is still more or less around. There'll be some frost in the valleys and the glens in the mornings. Then just towards, say, Tuesday, Wednesday, the very much milder air tries to edge its way in. Now, it may take its time to do so, but as the winds turn southwesterly, at least a temporary push of milder air, lifting freezing levels perhaps even above the tops, even in Scotland for a time. But there's the scope for chillier air to get drawn back around the low and come more in from the west or the northwest in the later part of the week. Confidence of how that unfolds is pretty low. Let's have a look at the charts for the next few days though, and for Saturday it's that easterly pattern with low pressure towards the south, high pressure towards the north, bits of fronts draped around. Really just areas of snow showers and flurries, rain or drizzle on lower slopes, and very few of them toward the western side of the Highlands, likewise very few towards the western side of the Lake District and West Wales. A front across the south of England may just interfere enough with South Wales to give some more frequent bursts of rain, say around the Brecon Beacons, and generally there's still a lot of low cloud and murk in the picture, with the very lowest cloud across more eastern mountains breaks toward the west. Sunday looks similar, if anything with a bit more breeze, the air just turning over a little bit more and the cloud base is tending to lift, not quite as murky as previous days, but could still stay filled in with cloud across higher slopes in more eastern regions, best of the breaks toward the west, and again there'll be a few brief flurries or drizzly showers coming in from the North Sea. Low pressure stays towards the south and a front over southern England should be away from South Wales. It's still an east by southeasterly type of pattern though that takes us into the start of the new week as high pressure stays toward the north. Atlantic fronts are still well away at this stage, so still a good deal of low cloud is going to be in place, maybe not quite as filled in with murk just as now, but still looking rather dull. Best of some sunshine towards more western coastal regions and some showers coming in again from the North Sea. These of sleet or snow above say 500 or 600 metres. Now timing is going to be crucial into midweek. It may be that these fronts coming in shown on this chart are a little bit too quick shown here. It may take longer for them to arrive, but it's around Tuesday where changes are developing as we lose the easterly pattern and start to gain more of a south by still maybe southeasterly at first, but eventually turning around more toward the southwest as fronts start to come in. Now as that comes into cold air at first, there may be an extensive fall of snow at some point around Tuesday, perhaps into Wednesday, focused on Scotland. I suspect becoming more sooner rain across the hills of England and Wales, and the risk of winds strengthening towards gale force, but again the timing is uncertain. So that's the battleground as we go into the middle of the week. It looks as though the Atlantic lows do move in, but exactly how things unfold in the later part of the week are very much uncertain. Just be wary of looking at various forecasts on apps and websites. There'll be some chopping and changing as the models run from day to day. At the very least, though, it looks as though it's unsettled, with the greater risk of gales becoming extensive. There'll be some heavy rain sweeping in, snow initially on the hills, maybe becoming confined just to the highest Scottish tops, with rain at most levels, I suspect, for a few days. But it's as low pressure over the Atlantic starts to move its way gradually further towards us and eventually more across the country toward the North Sea that we may just drag colder air back around that low, and any push of milder southerly winds gets taken away, and it's lowering freezing levels that come back around from the northwest. It just depends where the centre of that low pressure goes. Heading towards next weekend, tentatively that low wants to pull away toward the east, pressure wants to build from the west, and we're left with an attempt at trying to go back to a southwesterly again after that, but all very much open to question. I suspect there may be a bit of a lull that comes in as pressure tries to build. With that, if there's cold air that's trying to come back round, it could be that there's some fine and frosty conditions briefly before things try to become more unsettled again. So a lot to play for just as we head towards next weekend. Some longer range indications into December still favour the colder patterns being the ones that try and dominate. Whether we get genuinely into full-blown winter conditions widely, well, we'll have to wait and see just at this stage. Stay up to date with us then here at the Mountain Weather Information Service. We'll update the next video for you on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.